So I've come out this evening for a wee cast for a salmon, and as you can see the light's quite low already, so don't imagine I've got very long, but even an hour will be great, you know. Give it a wee throw, and it's a fantastic place, and also it does have a few fish in here. This year has been very odd and loose because there has been simply no rain from mid-May to mid-September, so fish have struggled to get in, and some places have basically no fish in at all because, of course, the fish were eaten in the sea effectively. So nonetheless, we'll see how we go. I was here in sort of early June, and the water was much lower, so I don't know if you remember that video, but this sticky out pointy bit here, that's an island now. Then I was standing on it, I was able to easily walk out there, you know. So yeah, it's been a bit of a change since then, but nonetheless it's looking reasonable. There's a wee wave on it. What I'm going to do is work along here a bit and then fish my way back, I think is my plan, rather than start fishing here. So first of all, I'll climb up the bank and get onto the bank, and then I'll take a wee wander. There's a few wee spits of rain falling, so not super pleasant, but not a bad night for fishing at all. I would plan to keep walking and fish my way back. This wee bit with the wee wave on it just looked so good that I thought, well, you can't not have a cast in the way along, and it drops off fairly quickly here, so you don't need to cast out miles, you know, which is handy. The rain's getting a wee bit heavier, but as you can see, looks brighter out there, so out beyond the glacium and whatnot, looks brighter, so maybe that's coming our way. So I'm fishing one of these red shrimp things again, and a silver stoat, the kind of, not exactly a standard cast for me, but certainly fairly common, you know. I'm getting tangles on my line. Now I have to be very careful here because there's big holes between the rocks, which leaves you with big holes between the vegetation up here. I think it's getting time to move along another rock. Tonight will be mostly an evening of rock hopping, I guess. So, if I put that out there, pick up my net and move to my next chosen rock. I don't really know if you can have a favourite rock, but we'll see. I think I do quite like this rock in view of the fact that it's flat. So we'll use it for the meantime. Why is it that if you set your net down, your line always wraps around the handle of your net? It's like one of these great laws of physics, you know. And I know lots of people carry their net in their back and all sorts of sophisticated solutions, but I've always liked just to carry mine and leave mine at my feet, and it's a completely crazy and ridiculous idea, and I'm the first to admit it. But I kind of feel that it works for me, you know. Again, time to move, because I only really have about another hour daylight left, and there's it doesn't look like a huge distance back to the car, but it's quite a lot of fishing if you were to really fish it, you know, thoroughly, because it gets quite deep quite fast out here. So it's a great bank for lies, for salmon, you know. So what I'll do is, if I can work out a way to climb up onto here, I'll then move another step back towards the road. Now you can actually probably see the road in the car there, but you know, with all these wee bays and rocky outcrops and stuff, there's actually a lot of fishing between here and there, and certainly more than I have time to do justice to just this evening. But hey ho, it's a lovely night. Now, that moved a fish. Don't know if you saw it, but I think it was a salmon. Because it moved quite a big piece of water. But I don't think he'll come back because I'm pretty certain I touched him. There was just that wee bit of resistance on the line. It's very hard to judge sometimes, you know, but it just moved in an awful lot of water for a trout, if that makes sense. Or a weird fish, you know. Didn't look like a huge fish, but I would have said it was a 4-pound fish rather than a half-pound fish, would be my guess. Just I actually don't know how much you can see in the GoPro now that the light's failing quite badly on me. But again, it's one of those things. You get what you get. And really, these videos are only a record of my nights out, you know. That other people occasionally watch them just amazes me. And if people enjoy them, I think it's great, you know, because that's what fishing's all about. Getting out here, having a great night. I have this whole place to myself. It's a glorious evening. Lovely September evening. This is probably the best grilse fishery in the world. And it's certainly in a very remarkable place and a very remarkable history associated with it, including 54 salmon for one day to one rod, going back some time. And actually, the same man, amusingly, had 47 salmon to his rod the following day, but at lunchtime decided he was going to go grouse fishing instead of grouse shooting instead of continuing with the fishing. So 47 salmon to lunchtime is you're fairly rocking it, like, aren't you? Well, I'm here in a car. I'm watching the cars along the road, you see, because some of Lewis's most highly skilled and highly trained anglers were on Langavat today. So I'm keeping a wee eye open because they said they would give me a toot and a wave as they went past. But they're maybe at home eating their dinner by now, for all I know. But I'm keeping a wee eye out, you see. You never know. So I'm having a wee throw from up here now. I have a plan for getting down there should I need to net something, but chances are pretty slim, I would guess, and I probably don't need to worry too much about it. But obviously the plan involves a lot of rock climbing and interesting things while trying to hold the salmon on the other hand. So it's a fairly entertaining plan. You can't beat a bit of real wild fishing, eh? Any fishing that involves actual mountaineering, you know. Nice wee bay, this. Oh, go on there. There. Not an inconvenient cast. That's a wee bit better. I think it's just gone sunset by the time, I think, so that'll be us pretty much nearly done. I'll have to start thinking about wandering back towards the car, because you certainly don't want to be walking off this ground in the pitch black if you can avoid it. I mean, I have my torch and stuff with me, you know, should there be a need to, but it wouldn't exactly be ideal, you know. I don't know how much you can see now in the GoPro. I've turned the ISO way up, and I don't know what that does quality wise, you know, but it's not good in low light. So obviously once we get past sunset here, I don't imagine you're getting wonderful quality pictures, but then you never do, so you know, and mostly you don't complain, to be fair. I don't know if you can see this, because I guess it'll probably not work in the GoPro, but we're just having this most amazing sort of sunset effect. really fantastic. The whole loch has gone like liquid gold. It's really quite surreal, you know. Fantastic, and with great display of northern lights last night as well. Really quite amazing. Don't know. I think many people don't kind of get that this is an important part of the fishing, you know. I mean, I should be throwing flies out and waving my arms around, but I'm just standing here admiring it. Sure, isn't that a fantastic view? And it's not every night you get to stand out here, you know, whether you're fishing or not. I rattled along to this wee point for just a few more casts before I call it done. Just kind of while I have the sunset and whatnot. Sure, you might as well enjoy it. Oh, I don't know if you can see the grouse. Oh yes, it's great to come out here and meet up with your little feathered pals, you know. I guess at this time of night they don't take kindly to being disturbed, being as it's bedtime. Six or seven in that wee covey, plus the two I put up earlier, so good wee collection. The estate do shoot the grouse, but they only shoot, it's a huge estate, and they only shoot each piece of land once in the year, so it's walked up. So what happens is they might walk out here for basically a day's worth of walking and come back in with pointers, you know, two dogs pointing the grouse, and they might shoot, you know, 2 or 4 grouse off what amounts to hundreds, maybe thousands of acres of ground, and then that bit of ground will not be shot again for another year. So it's a great way to kind of keep the ground, in the sense that the ground's kept for the grouse and all sorts of feathered friends, you know, and I sometimes show them to you in my videos, and they're my pals. But actually the pressure on it is next to nothing. I mean, the level of predation of the walked up grouse shooters is probably a tiny percentage of the level of predation the grouse face from raptors and all the other people who eat them, you know. So it's fantastic. It's really, you know, it's a fantastic way to manage the land out here. Done for another quick evening. Heading down to the road in the car now. I don't know if you can see anything. It's the light's pretty much gone, you know. But what a night out. I just love it. I know there was no fish, but sure, could you beat it? Like,